future at Liverpool hasn't been decided yet, with his contract set to expire in the summer. And Robertson also admits he's been frustrated by his lack of playing time. The Liverpool vice-captain remains in talks with the club over a new contract and insisted a change in his role this season has not diminished his desire to play. And Robertson had a chance to move to Atletico Madrid last summer, but opted to stay after the club, of course, won a second Premier League title in the space of 5 years. This is what Robertson had to say. I've got 5 months left and we need to see the option to stay, or if there's options to go. I need to see what myself and my family want moving forward. I've given absolutely everything for the club for the last 8.5 years, and the club have been very good to me. I do have a different role here this season, which I'm getting enjoyment out of, but at the end of the day, footballers want to play, and if anyone is sat happy on the bench, then they don't belong at a football club. Maybe I've not played as much as I would have liked, but it's nothing I've been surprised by. Let's see, he says, what happens. So, did we see this one coming? Do you think?
I mean, there were signs of a potential exit, and you alluded to it there.
Yeah.
When you were talking about Robertson and Atletico Madrid, because last summer, when Milos Kerkez made the move from Bournemouth to Liverpool, I think Andrew Robertson knew then, well, is my game time going to be limited at Anfield now? And Atletico Madrid did come in with an offer, and Andy Robertson has since said that there was a chance that he could have gone to Atletico Madrid, but he decided it wasn't right for him or his family at that stage of his career. He wanted to stay and fight for his place at Anfield. Of course, since that move hasn't happened in the summer, Milos Kerkez has been the preferred option for Arne Slot in that left-back area. And Andrew Robertson has started just 4 Premier League games so far this season. So I think what will have to happen is he will take a look at what happens for the rest of the season. Those talks, as you mentioned, over a new contract are continuing. But if the situation arises where the game time is still limited, I think Andrew Robertson himself will have a decision to make, regardless of whether Liverpool decide to offer him a new contract or not come the summer, because he has still said he's got the hunger and the appetite to play. He's still 31 years old. I think he's 32 in a couple of months. So he's still got plenty of games left in him, and he's still got the desire clearly to play at the highest level. He's got the World Cup with Scotland coming up as well. He's the captain of Scotland, isn't he, in the summer? So I think his focus for now, for the rest of his contract as it stands at Liverpool, he'll be there until the end of the season, and then on the World Cup, and then I will think he'll take a step back and say, what would be best for my career and my family moving forward?
It's interesting because I know we're talking about the end of the season, but can they afford to lose him at the moment? Because wasn't it Arne Slot who came out the other day and said, hang on, I need more in defence? Yeah,
they're struggling for defensive options right now. Darmish is right to point out that he's only started 4 Premier League games this season, but he's played 20 times in all competitions. He's clearly still an important squad player this season. He's in quite an interesting position because it's clear that he has been replaced by Milos Kerkez, but you wonder how valuable that experience he has is going to be for Liverpool moving forward. He's still a really good left-back. He's not quite the player he was when he burst onto the scene at Liverpool. He's not going to get those similar opportunities, you wouldn't think. So it's up to Andy Robertson, if Liverpool do indeed offer him a contract, whether he's happy to be a squad player at one of the biggest clubs in the world, or he sees himself being a key player for another big club. I think Liverpool are going to be in a situation either way where they need to make a decision in terms of trying to extend Andy Robertson's contract for 1 or 2 years, or in the summer you think they would have to buy another left-back, because we've got Kostas Tsimikas coming back from his loan spell. I don't think his future remains at Anfield. I think he left because he wants more first-team opportunities. So it's whether financially it makes more sense. If they still think Andy Robertson is at a level that can compete at left-back for Liverpool when required, whether they try and keep him on, and that wouldn't cost a transfer fee, or you spend what would be a significant amount of money to sign a Milos Kerkez deputy.
It really does feel like that area of the pitch in defence for Liverpool is going to be so key for them. Maybe even in this month, but definitely in the summer, because if Andrew Robertson is no longer at the club, Ibrahima Konate, even though there are talks over a new contract, he's into the final 6 months of his contract as well. Virgil van Dijk is getting a little bit older, even though he has signed a new contract. They will want to get players in the central defensive positions, and now, of course, at full-back as well. So definitely an area to watch for Liverpool, and could be a big priority for them come the summer.
Yeah, and you know, I'm going to be sneaky and sort of talk about this window as well, because we're only on the 15th. So potentially, if there are talks, and this is perhaps a little ironic that this has come out now, that he's still not sure about his future. Could it prompt him to go? They get the money for him and they could still spend that money in defence in this period at all? Do you think they could make a signing in this window, or do you think this is just about the summer?
There'll always be alert to any opportunities that there are there for Liverpool. I think regardless of whether Andrew Robertson was to leave in this transfer window or not, because just say, for example, he stays, but Liverpool have the inkling that actually it's going to come to an end in the summer. We've always been talking about long-term targets, haven't we? And unique market opportunities. So maybe if they had a left-back in mind that they wanted to bring in to challenge Milos Kerkez for the long term, and he became available in this transfer window, then who's to say that Liverpool couldn't act in this transfer window for that position as well as the other central defensive areas that they're looking at too?
Liverpool have begun laying the groundwork for a major defensive rebuild, with early talks now opened for Tottenham Hotspur centre-back Mickey van de Ven. As uncertainty continues to surround the futures of Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate and Joe Gomez, the Reds are wasting no time in identifying a long-term solution at the heart of their defence. And Van de Ven has emerged as a prime target. New manager Arne Slot is understood to be a huge admirer of the Dutch international, viewing him as the ideal modern centre-back to lead Liverpool's next era. At just 23, Van de Ven has already proven himself in the Premier League, combining elite pace, physical dominance and composure on the ball, qualities Slot believes are essential for his high-intensity system. Tottenham value the defender at around $78 million, reflecting both his importance to their project and his rapid rise since arriving in England. While Spurs are reluctant to sell, Liverpool's proactive approach signals serious intent. The club is keen to move early, avoiding a prolonged transfer saga and potential competition from rivals who are also monitoring Van de Ven's situation. The urgency is driven by Liverpool's defensive crossroads. Van Dijk, the long-standing leader of the backline, is approaching the later stages of his career, while Konate's fitness record and Gomez's inconsistent role have raised questions internally. Slot wants stability, longevity, and a defender capable of anchoring the defense for years to come, not a short-term fix. Van de Ven fits that vision perfectly. His recovery speed allows teams to play a high line with confidence. His aerial strength adds authority in both boxes, and his calmness under pressure makes him a natural organizer. At Tottenham, he has already shown leadership beyond his years, earning praise as one of the league's standout defenders this season. For Liverpool, this move would represent more than just a transfer. It would be a statement of intent. Slot is clearly shaping the squad in his image, prioritizing athleticism, tactical intelligence, and durability. Bringing in Van de Ven would signal the beginning of a new defensive core designed to compete at the highest level, domestically and in Europe. Talks are still at an early stage, but one thing is clear. Liverpool are moving with purpose. As the summer window approaches, all eyes will be on Anfield to see whether the Reds can pull off one of the most significant defensive signings in the Premier League. If Liverpool act decisively, Mickey van de Ven could be the cornerstone of their defence for the next decade, and the heir to Van Dijk's throne.
Well, James Green is alongside me, and we're going to start with big developments around the future of Liverpool left-back Andy Robertson, who it appears could leave this month. Fill us in, James. Incredible, really. Robertson to Spurs, potentially.
Potentially. Well, Tottenham are in preliminary, I should say, talks with Liverpool over his signing. Scotland captain, as we know, is out of contract in the summer. Look, the talks have started, but they're expecting an outcome in the next few days. Now, this was a player that was on Tottenham Hotspur's radar for the summer, and you think he'd probably have quite a few suitors in the summer as a free transfer, but that's been accelerated because of Tottenham's immediate need for cover at left back. Ben Davies having a fractured ankle certainly would have pushed forward this. So look, it's come a bit left field for a lot of us. It's a big name and a big signing. It's come from left back, yes. So look, this could move quite quickly. quickly, this one, but a lot will rest on Andy Robertson and what he wants, and had quotes recently where he said he'll discuss his options with his family before making a decision. He has a lot of respect for Liverpool as well, so he'll discuss what they want from him for the remainder of the season. But yeah, very interesting one this lunchtime.
Let's start with it from a Liverpool point of view. So you'll be getting money in, which you wouldn't be getting in the summer. You'll benefit financially. But when you look at the squad, is it not already a little bit thin defensively? Would they not have to get a replacement in?
Yeah, they definitely would, of some sort. They've got Kostas Tsimikas currently on loan at Roma. He hasn't particularly had a great loan spell this season, so they could recall Tsimikas back into the squad to be back up for Milos Kerkez. They are short Giovanni Leone. His injury at centre-back left them short centre-back, missed out on Mark Gay, as we've been discussing. That leaves just Konate, Van Dijk and Joe Gomez. Right back, they're still not necessarily set with Conor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong playing a little bit further forward at times too, but it would leave them short left back. So it's a discussion I'm sure Liverpool are having internally. Can they bring in a suitable replacement? Not only that will help them out immediately, I think Liverpool will be looking at longer term as well to provide suitable competition to Milos Kerkez. But Kerkez has started to perform and settle into Liverpool's side a little bit more. So you would say they would have to have some sort of movement. They can't just go into the remainder of the season with just Milos Kerkez as their only left back.
A bit short at centre back as well when you look at it. And from a Spurs point of view, is this exactly the kind of solid, experienced pro that could make a difference for them, not just on the pitch, but in the dressing room as well?
Yeah, 100%. Look, this is the experience. The lack of leadership has been something that's been talked about since Thomas Frank arrived at the club. When he did his assessment of where the squad's at, he looked at that squad and he was lacking leaders, and Andy Robertson looks set to lead Scotland at the World Cup. This is a vitally experienced Premier League player. He's been at the club for 9 years. Just £10 million he cost from Hull City 9 years ago. Won the Premier League. He's bought just great experience, great partnership with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's been, no doubt, one of the bargains of the Premier League era, really, the impact he's made at the club. But it's that leadership and that experience that Tottenham Hotspur crave so much right now. It also means that Jed Spence, who's been deputising the left-back, while Destiny Udogie, their first-choice left-back, has been struggling with injury, he can now move and focus on his development as a right-back to offer competition for Pedro Porro. We know Tottenham just signed Sosa from Santos, a 19-year-old Brazilian, but that's one for the future. They'll want to see him progress, but having an experienced head like Andy Robertson in that side is only going to benefit.
Jeremy Jacquet is a name that's been bandied around for a few weeks now, and it looks like Liverpool have got their man. He will have a medical with Liverpool after the club agreed a deal worth £60 million for the Rennes centre-back. He will then be loaned back to Rennes for the remainder of the season. Charlie, what do we make of this? Because Liverpool need a centre-back now, don't they?
They need one now. They needed one in the summer. I just think how they've let this Mark Gay situation slip through, and now that's obviously gone and put to bed. But they're just now waiting for, is Konate going to step up to the plate and continue what we've seen? Listen, he's had his own family issues that have gone on, and fingers crossed everything's right with that. But it's a nice way you can look forward to the summer that they've got one in the building that's going to start when he comes back.
Look, Chelsea were touted to get him, Jody, for the last couple of weeks. Looks like they're going to miss out. How would this have panned out from the player's point of view? Would he have looked at it and gone, hold on, where do I fit into this picture when the club already have double figures in terms of centre-backs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure they'll have double figures centre halves by the end of today. I imagine that they'll be trying to move a couple on. But yeah, if you're a player in his position where you've got a couple of big clubs that are after you, does it suit you maybe a little bit more if you're going to be looking at Liverpool? But I was surprised that obviously it suits Rennes because they're able to keep him until the summer. But if I'm a player, I'd be wanting to move now. And like Charlie said, I think Liverpool are in desperate need for a centre-half right now. When you think about if they lose any of the centre-halves and you've got Endo that is having to fill in the middle of the back, that doesn't suit at all. But yeah, disappointing, I imagine, for Chelsea and Liam he would have seen him up close being in the French league. So yeah, disappointing for Chelsea, but yeah, good for Liverpool to look forward to in the summer.
Yeah, that's right. A lot for Liverpool to look forward to in this summer, as Jodie just said there. So what is Chelsea's loss? Massively Liverpool's gain. But what are they getting out of him then, Kevin?
You're getting enormous potential. There's no doubt about that. This is somebody who's looked really good in Liga with Rennes. Says a lot that their coach, Habib Bey, said, if we lose him in the January window, we'll have to downgrade our ambitions for this season. That's how vital he's been to their chances this season. But you are talking mainly about potential. He doesn't have a long track record, doesn't have Champions League experience, doesn't have full international experience with France. But everything is there. Brings the ball out beautifully from the back, excellent in the air, strong, athletic. So all of the building blocks are there, but you are talking about potential rather than a proven track record.
So no surprise that he selected Liverpool over Chelsea?
Well, I think he would have looked at, the players' camp would have looked at various options. I think that move to the Premier League is always going to be seen as a top move. And Liverpool are desperate for a centre-back. We don't know what's happening with Ibrahima Konate in terms of his contract situation. So there's definitely an opportunity there at Liverpool for the next few years. And that ties in with what they're doing, Ekitike, Viet. This is a year for the next 4 or 5 years, not the next 18 months.
Yeah, great fit, definitely.